Welcome to Lead Like a Girl, where we are empowering everyday women through our stories. I am your host, Jessica Smith, and I began this journey by sharing my life story. Now, I've joined forces with my longtime friends, Jamie and Corlin, to keep this party going. We met many years ago as young sales girls in our 20s, driven and quickly rising to the top of our industry. As the years went on, life happened, and we all found ourselves in new companies and completely different industries, still striving for success in it all. Career, family, faith, fun. Now, it wasn't easy, but we never stopped moving. Get ready for our real conversations, inspiring stories, and our big life lessons as we share it all. The good, the bad, and the funny. Welcome to Lead Like a Girl.
Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Lead Like a Girl.
You just scared me with that one. You like jumped out of the closet.
I did. We've been laughing for 15 minutes, and we just decided, let's get this
all of
show
a sudden,
on the road.
Jamie decided it's time to go, and we all got to like hop to it.
I should have been an actress in a past life, I guess. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Welcome back to another episode. I want to say thanks to everyone. First of all, thanks to the people who listen to us and follow us and share us and participate in
Those are
all
the cool
things
kids
that we do
today.
So the cool kids, but also I'm so impressed with the people that comment, like send me messages in my personal life and tell me, I watched this and I shared it and I learned something from that. Or, hey, this is my feedback from that. I just think it's amazing. I mean, that's the point of sharing, empowering women, empowering everyday women with our stories. Like, that's the point, correct?
Yeah. You guys should read. There's been some cool comments on LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely.
We should do that. Yes. Jessica's, you are the master at LinkedIn. I also had a shout out to you today for Toastmasters with someone that I work with. So I just wanted to say that you were into it, very good at it, and convincing me to be part of it. I had to do a presentation recently, and the person counted how many times I said the word okay. So,
yeah.
And then also the word just and like. So there are 4 words I need to cut out of my vocabulary that I'm trying to.
Somebody on your team counted those for you on your behalf?
Yes, that's the Toastmasters way. That's how we become better speakers.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'll count.
I said, I recognize that I say the word okay, okay a lot. And so this person listened to me do, it was a role-playing activity, and they listened to me do it, and they took it upon themselves to tally them up.
That is a true Toastmaster.
For my benefit.
I love it.
So, yes, that happened. It's ridiculous. Now you're going to pay attention, and
I'll edit them all out.
Thank you, Jessica. Stop it. Tonight, this is a subject that came up just recently. I started to read a book called Sorry I'm Late, I Didn't Want to Come. It's from this author. Her name's Jessica.
I love that.
And I know. I have never considered myself an introvert or extrovert. I didn't really know what that meant, but it was, I was traveling and I wanted a funny book and I started listening to it. It's hilarious. It's essentially, Jessica has taken a year of her life to say yes. She was a self-proclaimed introvert, shy introvert, and took a year to say yes to everything. And it just really got me thinking about all the situations that we have in our life, like personal, work related, our relationship with our spouse, our relationship with our friends, obviously social situations, and how we react to those. And so we started to talk about this, as you guys know, last night. And I don't know, I think it's a pretty popular topic. People are kind of labeling themselves an introvert or an extrovert. And some people probably don't even know what that means. So I'm going to start with an icebreaker question for you guys, and then we're going to dive into what it actually is. So first thing I'm going to ask you, on a scale from cancel plans to host the party, where do you live on most days? Are you a cancel the plans, or are you a host the party?
It depends. I'm really situational on that one. We definitely like to host, but if you ask my husband, he thinks I'm a plan canceller all the time, just depending on.
And I am never a plan canceller. Like, even if I don't feel like it, I'm not canceling. I'm showing up just because I said that I would. So I'm somewhere probably, I don't host a lot. I do like hosting, but somewhere in the middle, but away from plan canceller.
Yeah.
Not
Okay, I want to correct my answer. I'm not a plan canceller. Like if I say yes, I'm going to come, but I was interpreting it as like, am I going to say yes to go all the time?
Oh, that's not canceling.
And
Right.
like, we'll have opportunities to go do things, and I will say,
Yeah, I think that's more the question is like if when you're supposed to go do something and the opportunity is there where you can just like not have to go. Are you okay with that? Or are you more on the side of like, I want to plan the party?
As we roll into this conversation, you'll see I've always labeled myself as an extrovert, so I'm getting ahead of myself. But as I've gotten older, I've given myself permission. If I don't really feel like I want to go do something, then I feel it's okay for me to say, no, I'd rather stay at home or I'd rather hang out. And I think that has been a growing edge because I've always been the yes person for a long, long time. And when I like, even saying no is hard for me, but I also feel like I just can't muster up the energy to do one more thing some nights.
I like, coming from my perspective of you, Corlin, I feel like you are so socially active, but that's just where I'm saying.
I am extroverted for sure,
which does not necessarily mean that
Correct.
We'll get into it. Okay. So after a long day, what recharges you faster? Quiet time alone or being around people?
Quiet time alone. And I consider myself an extrovert too, but quiet time.
I am totally, again, it's both and, because I was thinking about this. It's hard to say you recharge with a lot of people. I feel like those are kind of mutually exclusive. However, I was thinking when I'm at work and I've already had a long day and I'm tired, but we have guests in town or it's time to go out and do our group dinner. Going out and doing that gets me excited. Like I look forward to that because that'll bring my energy up versus that situation does not drain me. I could have a long day and be tired heading into it and I'm excited because I'll get more energy at the place versus like that is extra, more energy spent out.
Yeah. I think about that a little bit with family. You know, when people are like, I get more energy by having a family dinner or I want to be with family. Like, I think about that a little bit when you talk about like being around people and getting your energy from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We've talked about this before. Are you more likely to show up early, right on time, or fashionably late?
Right. What are we showing up for?
I have one answer: fashionably late.
Yeah. I'm the person that people are like, oh my God, who is here? I said 6 o'clock, but I didn't mean 6 o'clock. No, you said 6 o'clock and we are here at 6 o'clock. So the Smiths are on time every time. So don't tell us to be there if you don't want us there at 6.
Mm-hmm. I am not a fan of people who are early because I do like to host. And I have this stuff planned out. I mean, the food, the whatever. And if you show up early and you just hang out while I'm still prepping things, I'm like, just get out of here.
Yeah.
Please go somewhere else.
Got one eye of mascara on, and
because you know me, I get ready in like
a
5
spatula
minutes.
On the other hand, and you're like, I will murder you right now.
Get out. My door is locked. Just kidding. Okay, early fashion. What? Tell me. You said Jessica.
Yeah, I think I'm with Jess. I'm on time or late. If it's social and it's just come and go, I'll show up in the middle or show up a little bit late while there's people there kind of walking in the door.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Like if I'm going to an event, I'm absolutely okay with being there a few minutes late. Ideal weekend, wide open or fully planned. Like I'm telling you, I like to go in wide open, but also I get stressed out if there isn't something planned. So what is it, girls?
I would, if those are the only two options, I will take a fully planned weekend. Like,
Really?
left to
Think
my
about-
own devices, I do not love. Few and far between, yeah. Like heading into like, oh, we don't have anything planned. I can just putz and do the things. I would 1,000% rather have a fully planned weekend.
Okay. I was thinking about Costa Rica. Like, I was like, I love having a plan for a day, but also I need to have some
Wait, but
whatever.
But
time.
there was a plan. The plan was the pool, or the plan was the.
Yeah,
I don't think we were in
excursion.
Costa Rica. I don't think we didn't have a plan with you.
The only plan we had was the excursion. The rest of the time was just like, we're going to do whatever we do.
But are we talking about on
Sure.
vacation or just a weekend? Because I like
either
planning.
one. What do you think?
Well, I like planning. I do like planning, but when I'm on vacation, I like to just go with the flow. I don't want to be somewhere and have a plan and have to get up and know I have to go somewhere. Like, I like to just go with the flow when I'm on vacation. I like to do spur of the moment things. Sometimes that doesn't work out.
Same.
Especially if you're in Japan and you need a special license to go on the Mario Kart on the in Tokyo. But other than
Hypothetically.
that, right, exactly.
Yeah.
I like to go.
Yeah.
I would say though, it doesn't have to be. I don't have to be rigid. Like there's no flexibility. I still can be flexible, but I don't like that idle time, especially when you're in a place, especially on vacation, where there's zero plan and then you waste a bunch of time trying to figure out what you're going to do for the day. So having a loose idea of what we're going to do, like Jamie, you and I were like, we're going to go to the city, whatever we're going to do in the city or take, that's open. We didn't really have a plan that way, but we did have a plan to go take an Uber to get us someplace to go.
Yeah.
So just,
but I also love the idea of just like, if it changes, it changes. So
yeah.
So
Ish.
today,
Ish.
so thanks for your feedback on those questions. We're going to talk about introverts versus extroverts today. I really feel like most people don't understand the difference because it really is about energy.
Well,
I think
you know
that
how I've always remembered when people say, "Oh, are you introvert or extrovert?" I just remember the word extra, and people always telling me my whole life, like, "You're extra," and so that's how I remember extra just being, you're extra versus an introvert.
Yeah. And I think that's absolutely common. The truth is, it's more about how you recharge. So you can be a shy introvert. You can be an outgoing introvert. You can be a shy extrovert. You can be an outgoing extrovert. It's about how you recharge your energy. So introverts recharge through solitude, one-on-one conversations, sitting in quiet reflection. They can be social, but like too much of that drains them a little bit. And they tend to think before they speak. Extroverts. So extroverts recharge through social interaction, group activities, external stimulation. Like alone time can actually drain them a little bit if it's prolonged, loneliness, for example. And then they tend to think out loud. So think about an extrovert, they think out loud, where an introvert thinks before they speak. Okay. And now there's this whole aspect of shy versus outgoing. So I recently
I want to bring up a third one, and I don't know if this is a new word or I just know that in the last few years I've heard this ambivert. Okay.
Yeah, go get it. Because I didn't know what that I didn't know what that was. Please.
Okay. So I don't know if this is a new word or if you guys are just learning about it like I am, but ambivert. I think that's what I am. And here's the definition. An ambivert is someone who has a balance of introverted and extroverted traits. So they can enjoy social interactions. Also, they need alone time to recharge, and they adapt depending on the situation or depending on the season. And I feel like that's what I am. It's seasonal, it's situational.
if I had to pick one, yes, all those ways that you described an extrovert, but there are times that I had a hard day at work, like Corlin said, and maybe even after work, there was something, and I do need that time to recharge by myself. It's not long. I just need a little bit of it sometimes. And then there's other times where I'm just like, I just don't want to be around people for a month. So it just depends.
Yeah. No.
That's what we call a hermit.
There are all these things. So I did a little bit of research about this. So I'm going to give you a couple of characteristics because I think that Jessica, what you said, most people are probably a combo of both. I mean, but there are also some, I don't want to call it labels because we don't really want to use that word, but there are ways to describe these people. So a shy introvert, quiet, a little bit, maybe like anxious socially. They don't really want to be in the spotlight. They feel a little bit drained when they're out in big groups.
Yeah.
But then there's the outgoing introvert, which is like...
Those people are the ones that shock the crap out of me. I'm like, you're totally extroverted. And like, no, I'm an introvert.
That's
I'm
me.
Like, what?
Literally, that's me. Like, let me back up. Social outgoing introvert, socially skilled and confident. They can lead meetings, they can host events, they can perform on stage, but they still need to have alone time to recharge afterwards. So they surprise people. So an example would be someone who gives a really good presentation, but then they need like a whole night alone afterwards. So now there's the extrovert. So there's the shy extrovert. Really love the social interaction. They do tend to feel lonely easily. They might hesitate a little bit to initiate like a conversation just because they might get a little anxious and they might appear a little bit reserved. So an example of that would be somebody who wants to go to the party, but maybe they don't approach people. Like they want to be at the party, they want to be invited, but they might not be the most outgoing person at the party.
They need that little liquid courage to get them moving, and then they're off to the races.
Maybe. And then there's the outgoing... Right. And then there's the outgoing extrovert. So this is the person who's like energized by people, comfortable in groups, talks through ideas. They want the stimulation. And these are the people who leave the party more energized than when they arrive. So you could be an introvert, you could be an extrovert, but there's also those other things like you could be shy or outgoing. And it just kind of depends how you react to those situations. So there's a little bit of an explanation of the differences between them. There's a person named Carl Jung, who was a Swiss, I'm going to read this because there's no way I was going to memorize all this, a Swiss psychiatrist. And he was the collaborator of Freud. And he basically came up with this. He came up with the Myers-Briggs type indicator.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So he's the one who basically came up with like, okay, so one, it's introvert versus extrovert. Where do you fall in there? Next, the psychological functions. So how do you take in information? And then the final thing was like dominant and auxiliary functions. So like, what's your strongest mental tool? So he had a lot of different psychological studies that he put into place to come up with this, which has probably been the spearhead of every single test we've taken when we've applied to a job. Right. But I just thought I thought it was so interesting that you could consider yourself an introvert or an extrovert, but then you also have that shy versus outgoing aspect to it. Okay, let me back up. What do you guys think you are?
Well, I'm
an extrovert.
I mean, I can go extrovert, or I can, consider myself this new term of Amber Alert. I am an Amber Alert. When that shit goes off on your phone, that's me.
Missing. She's missing for days.
I'm an Amber Alert. I'm an Amber pervert.
She's either an extrovert or we have an Amber Alert.
Right.
Not funny.
I can go either way.
I'm an Amber Alert / pervert. Okay, you're an extrovert. Oh. But are you shy or outgoing?
Outgoing. Never shy. Never. I find
so you leave the party feeling
Yes.
Okay. Core?
Yeah. I don't like,
Same.
listen, there's people, and I'm not here to judge, but I find it very bizarre that people do things like go to the movies by themselves. Never in a million years would I ever think of something so crazy, even
Same.
going out to eat. Like, I will find someone in the parking lot and have them come in and buy them lunch before it's just, yeah.
And like, I go out to eat by myself all the time.
I took an alone lunch for a test drive. I'm like, I can do this. I can walk into this restaurant and sit down by myself, not be on my phone, and I'm just sitting there looking around, and I'm like, I wonder if everyone thinks I have no friends.
No. Is it crazy that we're best friends?
I did not like it. I thought just anybody like, I will invite anybody in this whole entire restaurant to sit down and have lunch with me, and I will pay for it. Just like somebody talk to me.
Yeah. Oh. But even sometimes when I am out and I look over at a couple that are having dinner together, and I will like sit there and look at my watch, and I'm like, they've been sitting there for like 5 minutes and no one has said anything. They're just sitting there. How is this even possible? Mm-hmm. So I find it fascinating myself.
Honestly, I would actually invite myself to somebody else's table before I sat by myself.
Yeah.
Like a complete stranger. I would just walk up like, hey, I'm just here by myself. Would you mind if I sat with you guys and ate lunch? And I would do that. And that would be totally fine with me versus sit and have lunch by myself.
Two things. One, I was in an airport recently, and a guy actually asked me if he could sit with me because it's an airport, so there's like nowhere to sit, in some of those restaurants. And he was like, "Can I just sit with you?" And then the waiter thought we were a couple, and I was like, I don't even know him. That happened. But two, I've eaten lunch alone 1,000 times. Like, I will go out to lunch by myself so much, and dinner happened. How are we friends? What the heck?
Because I think we should talk about this piece of it, because I think that there is a synergy and a charisma that happens when extroverted and introverted people hang out. Like, not like completely the opposite. Like, if you take the stereotypical introvert with the stereotypical extrovert, that might clash a little bit. But I do think that those two people need each other in some capacity, right?
Yeah. No, I think it's a perfect example of that's why they say that, diversity is so important, because that's where harmony happens, when people are different from one another. We probably, the three of us probably wouldn't work so well if it was just, me, Coraline, and another Coraline. I mean, it's just
there's Jessica.
There's an energy
we know we couldn't take two Jessicas, like 1,000%.
One Jessica. There's an energy exchange, though, is the thing. Yeah. There is, like, that's why the cohesiveness of a group, like you said, Coraline, of people who are introvert, extrovert, shy, outgoing works. Yeah. Right?
Okay, I have to tell you this. This is very poignant right now. I was trying to rack my brain on what would be the perfect example of the two sides colliding. And you guys, are you ready for this? Think of the movie Beaches with Bette Midler. I love that movie. I cry at it every single time I watch it. I've seen it 1,000 times. But you think of Bette Midler's character is 1,000% an extrovert, like on stage, let me dance, let me sing, give me the microphone. And her friend, whatever her name was, is it Cece or something like that? And she was like a lawyer, like very quiet, definitely introverted. But those two personalities throughout this whole story, they loved each other and they got along, and they, just like you said, that they fed off of each other's levels of energy, which were a lot of times at two different spectrums, but it works.
Yeah. Well, and a couple questions that I have for you guys that kind of like follow along with this trajectory is, has there ever been a misconception that someone has about your personality, where someone met you and they were like, oh, they're definitely this, but you're like, no, I'm not that?
I don't think so.
No, I look at Jessica's face and she's like,
I would say people say that probably about you though a lot. I would say that they probably pin you as an extrovert all the time. And if you I don't even know if I've ever heard you say you're an introvert. I probably think you're an extrovert too.
And I'm not at all. Like
But I can probably see that with all of your gardening, all of your wanting to roll around in the dirt.
The thing is,
Be in nature.
in front of every single day, all the time with my job, I am with people, in front of people, talking, leading, everything. And so when it comes to like the end of the evening or the whatever, when I'm trying to relax, I really do just need to like decompress. And most of the people in my life do not understand that. And I'll be honest with that. Like my kids, like my significant other, like they don't really get that I need to just like, can you just let me be for a minute? Sometimes I remember when we used to do trade shows, like home shows, I would come home and I'm like, my cheeks literally hurt because I've been like, all day, or I've been talking all day, or I've been like just on. I always call it on, like I've been on all day long, that I have to just not be on right now for a little bit. And truly though, I think most people have that thought about me, but I'm the opposite. I have a friend that's always telling me that I'm her extroverted friend and she's my introverted friend, and I'm like, but I think you have it flopped. I think we both are.
I did learn this lesson because when I was first into my role right now, and I'm hosting service trips and taking people to go out and volunteer, but we are going away with like a small group of 5 to 6 people. And in the nighttime, there's this opportunity to connect with other people. And I've always tried to start up conversation and just bring about this atmosphere where people can get to know each other a little bit deeper than you would while you're at work, right? And when we were on day 3, one of the guys on our very first trip we went on, he was one of our engineers, and it was maybe 8:30. So, and at the time it was like still light outside. And he stood up from the table and said, all right, that's about it for me. I got to go to bed. And I said, Tom, you can't go to bed. Like, you're a part of this thing. And he looked at me and he said, Coraline, I need to go recharge my battery so I can perform for you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And he just said, and I just brought light to this whole situation of that there people need to recharge in different ways. And everybody needs to be okay with how people recharge themselves, because if you spend out an introvert all the way to the bottom and you don't give them time, then they're going to be worthless the next day or whenever you need them to perform. So giving them the space and the way that they need to is essential to work together.
Yep.
No, that's a perfect example. My sister Monique is, you would think, same thing. She's a talker. You get her in front of someone, but every time I bring her to an environment, to a conference or somewhere like that, and I force her, I'm like, no, you're going out with me. No, when I've done that, by day 2, maybe day 3, she will disappear. She's MIA. She is done.
I've seen that before.
Yes. Yeah. No, last time we came to Chicago.
Monique?
Yeah,
nobody knows.
We haven't seen her.
She's eating a hot dog by herself, like in 3 restaurants over.
I would do that too, though. Like, I would absolutely.
She is gone. Yeah, she is gone. And she's just like, and so to your point, Coraline, even though that's why I said I find it fascinating, some of these things, but I've learned over the years that, as crazy as that sounds, whereas I'm the opposite, I get in a room full of people and I am like charged. This is like bringing life to me. And I'm like talking, and then I get home and I could probably talk more, and I'm on the phone. And my family used to say, you talk to people all day. How in the world do you come home and you're on the phone? I'm like,
how do you still have words left?
Exactly. I talk in my sleep. What are you talking about?
Oh my god. Yeah. So I was
Have
trying to think about.
You guys ever watched that TED Talk? What was her name? Like Susan Cain, maybe, I think. But it's a TED Talk that's extremely famous, and it's called The Art of the Introvert. Have you heard this before? It's like had like 17 million views or something like that. I looked at it earlier, but she was talking about how a lot of times it's the extroverted person that gets a lot of the fanfare, the promotion, the attention because of their position. But if you really dial it back, introverted people are essential to our teams. And she was like, newsflash, you need to give us some space and you have to be quiet, because we're not, an introverted person generally isn't going to be the first one to speak up, but they might have the best idea and you might miss it.
Perfect segue. How do we bring this in? How do we take this information and bring it into maybe our personal life, but also our workplace? So I had a couple questions that I have a few questions that I asked a couple of actually my female leadership coworkers. So colleagues of mine that are in leadership in my company. And I want to know your answers as well. And it absolutely was that topic, but it doesn't mean it has to just be workplace. I mean, I would love to know that your answers as far as like your personal life as well. So one of the first questions, and I think this is a little bit like, are you this or are you that? Mm-hmm. But in meetings, are you the one who thinks first or speaks first?
So surprisingly enough, and this is after been out here for a number of years, and I got that feedback years ago, and it was difficult to hear, and I took it that one time and I remembered it. I am not the first. In fact, I'm very intentional and aware, because one, I felt it was a little embarrassing to hear that feedback from a mentor. And the feedback was, listen, you got good stuff to say. Don't get me wrong. Like, you don't, but when you speak, you have to realize what sometimes happens to the other people in the room. Like, you get people's attention, you're an influencer, you're impactful. So now ever since, and this was years ago, I make sure that I am quiet. I do this in church, in class, in a meeting. I am never the first person. I'm not never the first person. I purposely wait, and I let that long, awkward silence happen before I speak. And I don't always have to speak. Once upon a time, I always thought that I had to say something because it was expected of me, or because they would think I wasn't paying attention, or I didn't have anything. I don't always have to say something. So one, I leave that door open for other people to speak. So I'm not the first one to speak, or I just don't, if it's not something that I feel is really impactful and needs to be said, I don't always have to say something.
Mm-hmm. We probably had the same mentor, because I feel that at some point in my past, I'd read a book or something and did a little self-reflection. And I would say that was probably me in my younger life, where I felt like I had something to prove. Like, I wanted to come across as somebody who had something to say. But as I've gotten older and definitely more observant of the different people in the room, I know that I know that I can be confident if I need to say the thing I want to say. But I also want to give the platform to everybody else in the conversation too. So I think it's definitely selective, and I've grown out of trying to always feel like I have to have something to say every single time that there's an open discussion.
Yeah. And I think one of the comments that really stuck in my head when I asked a few people this question was, they said, I seek to understand first before I try to be understood. Like,
that's the 7 habits of highly effective people right there.
I
That's
know,
like number
exactly.
3.
Yeah. And it's like, you forget about that, sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, I find myself in meetings or in these types of work situations where it's like, I kind of struggle with, do I want to show myself as this leader and I want to like get in there and like say my piece, or do I want to sit back and listen and figure, or am I going to like lose my shot of showing that I can answer this question, or that I am a leader, or that I can, I do have a good idea. So it's a little bit
It's a balancing act.
It really is.
I also think that when you are seen as somebody who is a little bit more outgoing or outspoken, that if you show up to a meeting and you have nothing to say, I've even had people come up to me and say, are you feeling okay? Or are you angry? Or something like that, where they interpret silence as not being on board, even though my intention was just to share the stage and not dominate the conversation.
Right. Silence kind of like appears to others like you're either you don't agree or
Not engaged.
you're not engaged, which brings me to the next one. Okay, so do you prefer brainstorming out loud or coming back later with some ideas?
Out loud.
I love
love
the
this
phrase
question.
I'm just thinking out loud here is my go-to. Just so everybody also knows that I'm not sold on this idea either. Like, this is just me free thinking. Like, I'm just thinking out loud.
I love this. One of the people that I asked this question to, they had mentioned that they're very much an out loud brainstormer. Feedback they got was that they could be viewed as intimidating. So someone had told them, like, you can kind of be intimidated. You can be viewed as intimidating because you're just like throwing all this stuff out there. Whereas she was saying, I'm just thinking out loud. Like, I don't know if it's the right answer. It might not be. It might be a terrible idea. I'm just throwing shit out there.
Yeah.
Well,
Which I like. I mean,
you got to know your audience, and you got to, like anything else, you got to set the stage. There's a time and a place. And unless you're in a brainstorming session, then it may not be the place to just have a brain dump, right? So I like scheduling. Hey, let's have a working brainstorming session. Like, I will send you an invite and say, let's
Smart.
do. And that way all parties know what we're doing here.
And just setting the stage for the meeting, setting the stage for what are we doing today?
Right.
Here's what we're doing. Here's my agenda. What do you want to add to this? And here's how much time I've allotted. Is that good with you? You know what I mean? That whole premise.
I love it.
I think I've gotten in trouble with that in two different ways. One, I'll say, is I'm a out loud thinker. And when you're sitting in a room of people that just want answers, to your point, Jess, is that sometimes I've wanted to, we haven't come to a conclusion yet, but the people that you're sitting are just want answers. And so instead of, like, I've tried to, like, well, we could do this, or we could do this, or do this. And you just kind of lose the audience, where I should have said, you know what, let me think on this a little bit. I'll come back and we'll figure out a solution, like tee it out and come back. But I've tried to, like, process it out loud with a group of people, which wasn't receptive. And so I've learned a little bit to do that a little bit better. And then the other thing I would say is got into trouble a little bit early on in our marriage, because I didn't know this, but my husband also thinks out loud a lot. And so when he would be offering up ideas or things like that, we're trying to figure something out, he would say something and I'm thinking that's what he wants to do. And I just thought, like, there's no way we're going to do that. And then we would have a confrontation. And finally he's like, I wasn't sold on that idea either. I was just offering it up. I'm like, well, you didn't tell me. I thought you wanted to do that. And so we learned this phrase early on. We had another older couple that was like, the phrase we use is that we're just thinking out loud. And that was almost a game changer in the first couple years of our marriage, that I was like, okay, I'm just thinking out loud. He's just thinking out loud. And then he can have the diary of the mouth all that he wants. And I'm like, okay, we'll come back to that later.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. I have found that I think out loud, or say, what is it? Talk out loud. Whatever, think out loud a lot. And then Brad doesn't. And so we do the same thing, where he thinks like, oh, this is what we're doing. And then we end up having like this like weird, not fight, but we have this weird like dynamic
but
of
you
like,
said this,
oh no,
like, oh, I didn't mean it.
But I'm like, no, I don't care. I'm just saying, like, this could be an idea, or we could do this, or we could do that. And
Will's like, well, we didn't say we settled on that. And I was like, I was settled on that. I said it. That's what
I do kind of like that. We didn't say we settled on that. Yeah. Okay. One final question for you guys. And this is a little bit more, I would say this is all encompassing. This is maybe work. This is family. This is spouse. How do you advocate for your needs in a group setting? So when you're thinking about being an introvert versus an extrovert, you have to get like your point across, whatever your needs are. Maybe you're socially awkward. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're a talker. Maybe you think out loud, whatever it is. How are you advocating for what you need when you're in that group setting? Again, that could be a work thing. That could be a family meeting.
So I think for someone who is more of an introvert, the challenge is being vocal. And that is especially when you're in a group setting. I've had people say that like speaking up at any capacity is like so, it's like the scariest thing ever. And then to take it to the next level, when you're trying to communicate, like you said, what you need, it's even harder. The flip side is when you're an extrovert and you're trying to communicate what you need. And especially if you're someone who is passionate about whatever it is and you really believe that this is the right thing to do and this is what I need. Oftentimes it's a like Corlin said, it's a balance, because what I don't want is you got to make sure at the end of the day you're trying to get something. And so you got to be careful. And that is, one, you got to speak up, and you got to be able to do that effectively. But you also don't want to come off like, sometimes people are like, why are you getting upset? I'm like, I'm not getting upset. I'm just passionate about what I'm saying. And I'm trying to tell you what I need or what we need to do. It's like, no, you're getting upset. No, this is not anger. Trust me. If I was upset, I'm upset. So really making sure that whether it's your tone or whether it's, your words or making right eye contact, like all these things make a difference when you're trying to advocate for yourself.
Well, and I think recognizing that you also need to be invested in the people around you. I just, as you were speaking, it got me thinking a little bit about your story about your sister, where she disappears on day 3. Does she tell you, this is just what I need? Like, I need to not be here. I need to go have some time by myself.
No.
Whereas, like, right, she probably doesn't.
And again,
and
I'm thinking that I'm giving her I'm thinking I'm doing her favor. It's like, okay, we're at this event, we're networking, there's great people in the room, you need to be here. And I'm forcing her to get what I think she needs my way.
Right. And she might be thinking a complete opposite. And there it lies in us also going, okay, I see that. Like, obviously you see that because you've said it. So you're like, all right, that's what she needs. I know she needs that. So kind of like recognizing that in each other too, a little bit. But yeah, I think, yeah, just to go back to the original question, is just like, how do we do that? And is that the same in work, personal? How does that differ?
Well,
because you have to live with
Jessica,
those people.
You took it from the introverted point. I would say for me as an extrovert, something that I've leaned onto when I can find myself thinking out loud, teeing it up, hey, I've got a few thoughts on this. And so it's prepping the room to say, I don't just have one thought, but you're saying like, okay, I've got a few thoughts on this. First, I'm thinking this, or I'm also thinking this and also thinking this. So you're offering it up that you're not rambling. I'm not sold on these ideas, but you're kind of prepping everyone's mind so they know what they're going to receive. And if you find yourself going down a little bit of a ramble, I think giving them a summary of whatever it is that you're talking about. Okay, so just to recap, so we're all on the same page. I'm thinking this, or this. Let's reconvene and we can either, if anybody has a thought on this, let's talk about it. Otherwise, why don't we get back on this in 2 days and we can figure it out. So then you're giving yourself time a little bit of process and see, even as you're thinking out loud, which one are you actually sold on myself?
Yeah.
So you're not processing and deciding in the moment. Sometimes you've got time for that, sometimes not. But I found more often than not when I'm stuck in a conversation where we're just kind of brainstorming, like helping the audience process my way of thinking is better for everyone.
And then asking for, what are your thoughts? And, it's kind of like when we used to tell people, like, how was your day today? Like, anything exciting happened? And then that some people used to just run right past it and keep talking. It's like, don't ask if you don't really care. Genuinely care. Be open to
listen.
What are your thoughts? Right. What are your thoughts? And, there's times where people will share their thoughts and then I see it in a different light. And I even change my position on what I thought I needed based on getting those thoughts and feedback from the other people in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I mean, as far as takeaways too, I want to, because we're getting down to time here, but one of the other takeaways I wanted to talk about here is just taking a little bit of time to just pay attention to the fact that the way that you need to recharge versus the way that your significant other or your coworkers or your best friends need to recharge is different. And that's exactly, the message is a little bit different. The way you need to recharge is a little bit different. Like, and it's all fine. But if you just take that extra few minutes to recognize it, the communication can be so much more impactful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right? What do you guys have for takeaways for this? This was a fun topic.
No, I think it was for many reasons. And for me, I think there's people out there that don't think about this stuff a lot. And then there's those moments that they kind of feel like a weirdo. Like, seriously, they like, you can feel like, what is wrong with me? Am I, an oddball? Am I a weirdo? So when you really think about these type of things and seek out the information and understand exactly why people are the way that they are, one, you learn more about yourself, and it also helps you learn about other people. And so anytime I can learn more about other people, I love helping people. I love growing and developing people, mentoring people. And the more you can understand that and be accepting to people that are different than you, the better we all work together. So that's my takeaway.
Mm-hmm. I echo that. I feel as I've gotten older, like I don't feel like I need to match somebody else's pace. Also, giving people the freedom. You don't have to be the loudest person in the room to be the leader, and intentionally making sure we're making space for all the people in the room. I get socially charged up when I'm around other people. We also need to protect our ability to be quiet, and there's space for all of that, even in our conversation. I'm so surprised, Jamie, but that does make a lot of sense to me, but there's room in the conversation for everybody.
Yeah. And if nothing else, seriously, if no one was listening, just showing up here every week and learning more about people that you've known for freaking 30 years is awesome. Thank you, ladies.
It's so good. I know. It's so good. I would be interested if there was some sort of like a quiz or something. If you're not sure, if you're introvert, extrovert, shy, whatever. I mean, granted, there are all sorts of like characteristics that you could probably identify with, but it would be kind of fun if there was like some sort of test that you could take or a quiz that you could take to
funny you should say that. Yeah, I will add that because I'm working on something that helps people assess what are your God-given gifts versus what are your passions and how they work together. So maybe
I love that.
That is more to come on that, but maybe
I love that
could be a piece of it as well, or a different assessment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, anything you can learn about yourself to gain a little bit more introspective and like just be able to deal with other people in a better way.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be better for everyone in your life and including yourself. So, okay. So we're going to get off here. I thank everyone for listening to us and subscribing. And I don't know if you guys noticed my shirt tonight, but
did you notice my glass?
I did notice your glass. If anyone,
I don't know if you noticed,
love
my shirt.
Hey,
that could be taken so many different ways, Jamie. Be careful.
For those of you just listening, we're showing our swag, our Lead Like a Girl swag.
Yes. So leadlikeagirllab.com is our website. You can get swag on there. You can purchase t-shirts, glasses, hats, all kinds of cool stuff. And also, if you want to go on YouTube, Lead Like a Girl Lab on YouTube, you can watch us.
You can follow us on LinkedIn.
And all of our folly.
All of the folly. Thanks, everyone. Good night.